In this video, we embark on a journey through the capabilities of MYOB Advanced CRM. I'm excited to demonstrate how we can transform a lead, starting from its origins in Outlook, and navigate it through our well-defined process flow. Eventually, we'll witness how this journey ends in the creation of a project once we secure that all-important quote approval. MYOB Advanced offers a user-friendly CRM flow dashboard, complete with clickable links, to guide us through the entire process. These links serve as our entry points to infuse data into the system. We have various methods at our disposal, such as Outlook integration, which we'll explore shortly, mobile data input, importing data, and even the option to establish a website form for direct data integration into MYOB Advanced. But that's not all. Be sure to check out our other MYOB Advanced videos on our YouTube channel for a comprehensive understanding of our system's capabilities. For more information, visit our website. The link to our CRM overview demo can be found in the description box below. We'll begin by exploring the process of capturing a lead from Outlook and integrating it into our database. Following this, we'll dive into the crucial step of lead assignment. During this journey, we'll examine the integral role that tasks and activities play in relation to these leads. As we progress, we'll embark on the journey of transforming this lead into a promising opportunity. Our adventure continues as we venture into the realm of creating a quote for this opportunity. Finally, we'll witness the transformation as the quote evolves into a fully fledged project. Let's kick off, as I usually do, right within my Outlook inbox. As a sales representative, my inbox is often filled with potential leads. To illustrate this, let's take a closer look at our first lead here, Michael Scott. I'll go ahead and activate the MYOB Advanced Quick plugin. This tool scans the email address, searches our comprehensive database, and promptly retrieves any matching results. As you can see, Michael Scott is indeed present in our database. From this point, I have several options at my disposal. I can view the lead's details, log this email as an activity associated with the lead, and access additional lead information. Furthermore, I have the capability to create an opportunity and execute various other actions right from this interface. But what if the lead isn't already in our database? Well, let's explore that scenario. We have Creed Bratton here. Let's see if he is in our system. As you can see, there are no search results returned for Creed because he hasn't been entered into MYOB Advanced yet. So what's the next step? I want to ensure that we capture this lead in our system and keep a comprehensive record of this email and its attachment within MYOB Advanced for any potential updates or opportunities with this lead. Therefore, I'll proceed to create this lead. As you can observe, it automatically populates some information based on the email. I'll fill in additional details from here. For the company name, I'll enter Dunder Mifflin. Now, let's quickly check if Dunder Mifflin already exists in the system. And great, it does exist. So it will link directly to that account. I'll choose the source as referral since they were referred by a previous client. Let's proceed to create this lead. Instantly, you can see that his record is now in the database. So what is my next step? I want to log this email to that record. By clicking here, I can select where I want to save it, which will be under the contact. The subject is pulled in from the subject line, and these details form the content of the activity. You'll also notice that this file will accompany the log. It's now officially recorded in the system, and with that, I've completed all the necessary tasks in Outlook. Perhaps I'll respond back to Creed and let him know that I'm on top of it. Now back within the system. My dashboard provides me with actionable insights for my daily tasks. The color-coded indicators quickly tell me what's on track, what needs attention, and what needs immediate action. What's great is that this dashboard is interactive. As I hover over items, the relevant details and amounts are displayed. It is all tailored to the specific user logged in, which makes it dynamically informative. Now let's focus on my new leads. What's occurred within the system and how we can delve deeper into this lead. Here we have Creed Breton, who has been successfully added to the system. He was assigned to me through an assignment rule. If I'm the sole lead developer in the company, it's straightforward. All new leads come directly to me. However, if we require a more customized and dynamic assignment approach based on specific criteria, we have assignment maps at our disposal. These maps offer a high degree of flexibility, but in our case, it's pretty straightforward. All new leads come to me. Now, I'm currently in the generic inquiry, and you'll notice that it contains a lot of Creed's information right here in this row. But what if I want to access his complete record? Well, I have a couple of options. I can click here to drill down into the full record, or I can simply expand it by using this handy feature called a side panel. Side panels are quite versatile, and as you can see, they adjust dynamically when I switch to a new record. This flexibility allows me to update specific information on the highlighted record directly from the side panel. What adds real power to generic inquiries is the ability to apply conditional formatting. Take a look at this orange highlighting. It's applied to the row. The feature is fantastic for drawing attention to critical details. For instance, in this case, it's scanning job titles for specific keywords or characters and flagging important roles. It's suggesting that I might want to follow up with the chief executive officers. Additionally, over here, it's providing a warning that there's no email addresses available for these individuals. This prompts me to ensure we have their email addresses in the system if we intend to conduct business with them. Now let's return to my new leads. As you can see, Creed is here and I've got his record ready. I'll move him to the open status since I'm actively working on this lead now. Let's save the record. Now, when I refresh my dashboard, he no longer appears since I've categorized him as open. Now let's assume I did that and then performed some other task within the system. Later on, I need to find Creed again. Here in the search bar at the top is a universal search tool. When I click into and search for his name, it quickly retrieves his record. This search function can be incredibly useful when looking for specific details like purchase order numbers, invoice numbers, or any account-related information. It queries the database and promptly retrieves the record, just like we found Creed Breton here. Remember, we recorded an activity against this record when Creed sent us an email and we logged it through Outlook into MYOB Advanced? Well, let's explore where that information is stored. If we navigate to Activities, you can see that I have all the details of this email, including the email body, subject line, and the attachment. Now, anyone who logs into the system can access this information and understand what has transpired with this particular lead. Now we can further build customized workflows into your system. As you can see here, I can now qualify this lead as ready to purchase and send it off to sales, whereby sales can accept the lead or send it back to marketing. Obviously in the demo, I'm wearing multiple hats, so we'll just go ahead and accept the lead, and you can see the status has now changed to accepted by sales. Let's continue following our process and add a task. I'm going to initiate the initial qualification call for this lead. I'll set the due date for this Friday and leave the reminder as it is, automatically scheduled. Additionally, I believe Joseph is the ideal team member to handle this opportunity, so I'll assign it to Joseph and save the task. Joseph will get a notification and this task will now be visible on his dashboard. When Joseph logs in, he can access the email and task assigned to him and proceed accordingly. At this point, I'd like to create an opportunity. Let's go ahead and do that. Again, this step is customizable and you now have the ability to insert specific attributes or user-defined fields. As you can see, right from the start, it imports all the data from the associated lead record and starts with 0 amounts. To proceed effectively for our purposes, the next step is to generate a quote. Currently, we don't have any quotes in the system. I can create one from this button at the top or simply click the plus icon in here. Either method works. Now I need to decide what type of quote to generate, and this choice depends on your specific system configuration. In my case, I have two options, a sales quote for purchase order or a project quote for a project. I'll proceed with creating a project quote. Let's go ahead and create and review it. Now here's the newly created project quote. At this point, I can select the project template. This step is crucial as it will establish the project's framework, including tasks and other details. For this project, I'll opt for the fixed price software implementation template. As you can see, this action populates all the tasks associated with the project template and assigns the project manager. Now it's time to create an estimate. To provide an estimate, I'll need to add line items for the project tasks. I can do this manually, or I can upload an Excel sheet directly from the system. Let's proceed by adding the line items. I'll set my unit value to 0. As you can see, the system attempts to auto-match the columns, but if needed, I can easily adjust them. For instance, if I want to change a column from description to estimated duration, I can do so. While this one aligns perfectly because it was created for this purpose, you can make adjustments as necessary. Click OK, and now all our line items are loaded. You'll notice that it's also interactive up here. Now it displays total sales, the gross margin percentage, and the total quote. Let's proceed by saving that. At this stage, I need to submit the quote. Our system has an approval process in place designed to ensure that the gross margin is greater than 10%. Since mine is slightly below this threshold, it will follow the approval map I've configured for this purpose. It's worth noting that approval maps aren't limited to the CRM module. You can set up approval mapping across various parts of MYOB Advanced for different records. So while this example is in project quotes, the same functionality can apply to other areas of the software, similar to assignment maps and automation rules. Now I've completed all the necessary steps here and I'm ready to submit the quote. Alright, you can see that my quote has moved into the pending approval status. So for now, I've finished with this quote and I can shift my focus to other tasks. Perhaps I'll do some more prospecting, make some phone calls, and try and get other things moving. Meanwhile, in the system, my sales manager, who I'm logging in as now, has just received quotes that require approval. These quotes are highlighted in red to grab attention, a setting that can be configured in the backend for dashboard purposes. It's essential for the sales manager to be aware of quotes in need of approval because we must get them approved to proceed with billing. Therefore, let's delve into these quotes and make the necessary updates. While we're exploring this section, I'd like to emphasize the functionality of our dashboards. As mentioned earlier, the hover functionality is quite valuable. However, what I find particularly impressive is the dynamic nature of this dashboard. As you can see, it updates in real time as I make changes. For instance, if I want to focus solely on opportunities in the negotiation stage, I can remove all others from my view. I can then also add qualification and perform a direct comparison. This level of flexibility allows me to manipulate and analyze data as needed, making it an incredibly powerful tool. Many of our clients, as well as our internal teams, leverage this feature for various purposes given its effectiveness. Additionally, I can delve deeper into these reports to understand the data sources behind them. And all of these elements are designed to draw attention to actionable items, ensuring that you can efficiently manage your tasks and responsibilities for the day. Now, circling back to the topic of quotes, I have a few quotes pending for approval as a sales manager. Let's navigate to it to get more insights. It appears that the gross margin isn't quite at 10%, which is why it's come to me for approval. Now, what actions can I take from here? Well, I'll proceed with approval. It might not hit the exact 10%, but it's very close. Close enough for me to give it the green light. That's the note I'll leave for the reference. You can now see that the status has been updated to prepared, and the sales manager's part in this process is now complete. So let's now switch back to the perspective of the sales rep. On my salesperson dashboard, there's a new item that's grabbed my attention. I've got some quotes that were approved. Let's delve deeper into this by accessing the generic inquiry. There I find the quote and I see that it's now marked as prepared. But who gave it approval and what was their rationale? Well, they deemed it acceptable, and considering it's not too far off, they gave us the green light. Now, at this point, I have a couple of options. I can proceed to convert it into a project. Alternatively, I can edit the quote again, perhaps adding new line items to the estimate, incorporating new tasks, or updating any activities if the need arises. But I'm good to go with this quote. If we were to edit it, it would trigger the approval process again. So I'll simply proceed with converting it into a project. I'll select all these items. Now, perhaps I don't want to activate the task just yet. Let's go ahead and make the conversion. We now have a project with all our budgeting materials and information from the project quote neatly transferred over. It took hardly any time at all, as you can see. It contains all the data we discussed directly from that quote. While our example was fairly straightforward, it demonstrates how easily we can take a lead from Outlook through the entire process flow and eventually generate a project once the quote is approved. Thank you for joining me for this quick overview of taking a lead from Outlook to a project in MYOB Advanced.